Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. So I mentioned to you a couple of episodes back that I'm wanting to bring more of the content and just some of the ideas that I'm sharing in the Visible Leaders Facebook group over to you on the podcast. And one of the things that I love about this group, and I'll tell you how to join in a second, but everyone in there is really looking to grow their brand, grow their business, and a lot of them are looking to strategically figure out how do you use video content, like simple video content. We're not getting fancy here. We're using our phones or our laptops. It's not a huge production, but how can you use it to scale to multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, and generate a consistent stream of steady inbound leads? And so I've been doing these live Q&As in the group really since we started in July, and it's so much fun. And I did one recently where there were so many good questions on camera confidence, how to use video strategically to grow your business, how to make sure your videos convert into inbound leads. And so I just wanted to share that with you here because I think hopefully you're going to get a lot of value out of it. And if you want to join the Facebook group, it's totally free. It's a really cool community. We'd love to have you in there, and you can get access to these live Q&As where you can ask questions, where you can, get your questions answered, get some live coaching from me. And, it's not just me in the group, but it's like everyone in there is doing big work and is really brilliant at what they do. And so I think if you're looking to just have a good community of people who you can have supporting you and growing your brand and your visibility with, it's a really, really phenomenal place to be. So the group is Visible Leaders with Elyse Archer. You can find it over on Facebook, request to join. There's just a couple questions. And our community manager, Shada, will go ahead and approve you and let you in. And we would love to have you join. I would love to have you join. So if you want to get a little bit of a preview of what some of these Q&As are like, listen in. And I think you're going to get some really good ideas on how you can up your confidence on camera, can create more inbound leads for your business, and how you can more strategically grow your business this year and beyond. So hope you enjoy. Good morning, Visible Leaders. How are you today? Happy Wednesday to you. I hope for those of you who celebrated Thanksgiving here in the States, you had a beautiful Thanksgiving with your family. I've been on the road all the week before and got to be home last week, which was so nice. We spent Thanksgiving with my mom and my stepdad and my family here in Atlanta. So it was so good just to be able to relax and appreciate everything that has happened so far this year and everything that's still to come. And I know we're in December now, and it can be kind of in the mode where we start to slow down and where we start to kind of take it easy. And I really want to encourage you not to go into hustle and burnout mode, but to really be present to the fact that there are still, what are we at, December 4th? So there's still 27 days left in this month to really make an impact, to end not just this year, but this decade really, really strong. So I want to encourage you to be really intentional about every day and maximizing every single day as well, and the opportunity that is at hand. So I wanted to share with you just a message, something that was kind of on my heart today, thinking about some of the conversations that I have had recently with members of this group and with some of my clients as well. And I've noticed a fear of looking at the big picture. And hey, Holly, good morning. So good to see you. And this conversation has come up a lot. I've been speaking with some people who are, starting new initiatives that are going to make them more visible, starting new video content, and really thinking about putting themselves out there and starting to get in a lot of fear, not just about judgment, which I think we hear a lot, but also about what if it doesn't work? And I don't know if you ever find yourself getting into overwhelm over that, over thinking about, I've got this big vision, this big dream, this big goal that's deep down in my heart that I really want to accomplish. And what if I go all in and it doesn't work? And so I think often we hold ourselves back and we procrastinate and we don't take action out of that fear, because if you really go for it, and it doesn't happen the way you thought it would, what does that mean for you? But here's the thing. Here's how I want you to really reframe this, is instead of thinking about, if I go for it, and it doesn't happen the way I thought it would, I'm a failure. What I have always found in my life is, I've gone after plenty of things that haven't worked the way I thought they would. And every single time it's opened up another door for me that I hadn't seen before. Even if it doesn't end up being the thing that I thought it would be, just by taking the steps and by taking the forward action, doors have been opened, opportunities have shown up. It's kind of like, if you're walking down a hallway and you're walking towards this door that you thought was the door you were going to go through, and you get to the door and it's closed and you can't go through it, and you're like, damn it, I just spent all this effort and energy doing this, and now this door is closed. But suddenly you look to your left, and at the end of the hallway there's this other door that's open. And you hadn't seen it before because you'd been at the beginning of the hallway. Well, it's just like that in life. And sometimes the door that we are meant to walk through is a totally different door than the door we think we're supposed to walk through, but we're not going to know. You're not going to know until you take the action and the forward steps to get there. Okay, so I just really want to encourage you with that today, and just speak into you with whatever that big vision is. Be okay with taking the steps. Focus on the next step. The fear only shows up when we try to figure it all out at once. Just focus on what that next step is that you need to take, and I promise you the doors will open as you go. Thank you, Holly. I'm so glad you love that. It helps me too, because if I think too big picture with stuff, it's easy to get overwhelmed. But if you just take that next step, you'll see the door will open that you never even saw before. So we're 5 here. Good morning. We have Lindsay. Good morning. So good to have you all here joining. I was just sharing a little bit of a perspective shift. So for those of you who are joining a couple minutes in, go back and watch the beginning, because if you're struggling with any sort of fear or overwhelm over the big picture of your brand, your visibility, your videos, what you're doing, the message in the beginning I think is going to help you. So, so good to be here with you guys this morning. And I've got a ton of questions I'm going to be answering from the community, especially from some of our newer members who have been coming in. But for those of you who are here live, this is your time. And because you're live, you get priority. So any questions you have on video confidence, video lead generation, thinking about 2020 and what you want to accomplish in this next year, and what even, thinking about this year, before the end of the year, what do you want to have accomplished with videos, with your brand, with your business? Use this time to pop your questions in the chat. I'm available to help you. I'm available to help you think through it, to help you really end this year in your most powerful, positive way. So let's make this a great use of your time to get your questions answered. So for those of you who are here live, go ahead and pop any questions you have in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and start. Let me pull up my notes here. I had so many good questions from the community. So I'm going to start answering questions from the community, and then I'll check periodically to see what your questions are here in the chat. So we had a question come in from Makia, and I thought this was an interesting question. I actually haven't heard it before, but she said, if I mess up on a live and notice afterward, is it better to keep it up and correct the mistake in another, or take it down and do another with the correction? So it's an interesting question. It's a good question. To me, it depends on the severity of the mistake. So let's say that you give just wrong information about something. Like you're doing a live and you just give total misinformation. Maybe it's about your program. Maybe it's it's like a really big statistic that you're talking about. I think if it's true misinformation, I would probably go back and redo it. If it's a mistake though, I mess up all the time in these lives. You guys see it. Forget what I'm gonna say. The dogs bark, stuff happens. I don't worry too much about that. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Don't be too self-critical with it. But if it's misinformation or something that's going to mislead people or lead people down the wrong path, I would take it down and I would redo it. Holly is saying, are live videos or uploaded videos more beneficial for building an audience? Awesome question. So in general, the social media platforms are going to prioritize live video. over pre-recorded for your engagement. So if you want to build an audience and get more engagement, live is the way to go. I tend to do a mix of both, Holly. So I do pre-recorded. I have a content calendar that I use. I'm actually going to be creating something soon showing you guys like what the content calendar is like and how you can build your own. So I do pre-recorded videos twice a week. Like I'll batch them. I actually just did December's on Monday, where I batched 8 videos so I can do my 2 a week, and then I just have my team schedule them and upload them. That helps to stay consistent just in case I can't do a live video. But for building an audience and for engagement, live is the way to go if you can do it. So that would be my advice and my recommendation there. And great question, beautiful. All right, so we have a question from Tony who said, how to be consistent and real. So this is, to me, it's kind of a 2-part question. You know, in terms of the consistency, everyone today really has to think of themselves like a media company. So if you are building a personal brand, if you're creating video content, you really want to think of yourself like you are a media company. And Jay Baer, he has this great quote. If you guys don't follow Jay Baer, follow him online, read his books. He's probably one of the top thought leaders in social media and marketing today. But he says, media companies don't run on inspiration, they run on perspiration. So think about that. Media companies don't run on inspiration, they run on perspiration. Here's what that means for you. Think about it like the news. The news comes on at 5 o'clock every night, whether there is something to report or not. Now, sometimes that is good and sometimes that is bad. However, if you're going to build, actually, Holly, this kind of speaks to your question as well. If you're gonna build an audience, if you're gonna build viewership, if you're gonna build out a community, people need to know when they can expect to hear from you. The fastest way to really build an audience and build engagement is to become a part of somebody's daily routine. You need to let them know when they can expect to hear from you. What time of day is it? What day is it? I mean, even with, you know, with the coaching program, how you and I are in the same coaching program, and with the one that we're in, like this woman who did it, she did like a 3-month period of a daily video on YouTube every single morning. It came out at the same time. This was something she did last year. And it became a part of my daily routine. And it's actually something that helped kind of push me over the edge to signing up to work with her. So the consistency is so important and so critical here, and I can't overstate it enough. You know, I think in terms of consistency, what you want to do is figure out what can you actually commit to. You know, it's easy to look at what some people are doing and say, well, if I'm going to be, you know, quote unquote competitive, and I don't think we really need to think so much about being competitive today, but just more about creating our, you know, working in our genius and creating our great work for the world. But you can look at what other people are doing and say, well, I'm going to have to do like a daily video if I'm going to be competitive with other people. Now, if your schedule permits that, and if you can keep up with that, then do it, but don't start it if you're not going to be able to finish it. I did something like that about 2.5, 3 years ago. I did a daily video. It was great. It grew my audience. It generated a lot of clients. It was effective. It was a lot of work. It was almost like a full-time job. So I ended up after that, I went to, I think it was once a week, and now I'm doing twice a week. So pick something you can commit to and stick with, and then calendar it out. Use a content calendar. I've mentioned this before in the group. I like HubSpot's free version. I downloaded that for my own, and I've modified it for my own, and I'm also going to be sharing with you guys some more resources in the upcoming weeks for creating your own content calendar. But pick something you can stick to. Hey, Marlena, so good to have you in here. Hey, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. I'm prioritizing those who are here live, but I got a ton of questions from the audience that people ask ahead of time. So I'll be answering those, but anyone who's here live, go ahead and pop your question in the chat. Happy to answer. So that's what I would say in terms of being consistent. And then I'm just looking back at his question. In terms of being real, to me, being real, it just comes from confidence. You know, anytime I find myself being like inauthentic or saying stuff that I don't actually really mean, it's because I feel insecure. And I used to struggle with this way more than I do now. But it comes from insecurity, and it comes from comparing yourself to other people and worrying too much about what other people are going to think of you. And this is actually the theme to so much of what I wanted to share with you all today is the best way to get out of that mode is to jump from a self-focus to an others focus. You have to get in the mindset of service with your content, with your videos, knowing that it's not about you at all. You know, this is one of the biggest mistakes people make with a personal brand, is they think it's about them. It's not about you. It's about the person you serve. And so if you're feeling like you're not being real, which I think we all have that happen from time to time, it simply means your focus has shifted onto the wrong thing. So shift it back onto the person you're serving. Like right now, as I'm just thinking about who's here live and who's asked these questions, it's like, I am so in support of all of you who are here. It's not about me at all. It's about you giving up part of your day to be here live, to get your questions answered, to get coaching. And my only job is to be of service to you, whatever that means. And it takes off all the pressure for me to perform, to say the right thing. So if you can really step into that place of service, it's going to help you be way more real and authentic in your videos. Okay, so if you guys like that, give me a heart, give me a like, let me know if you guys have any other tips for being more real in your videos, or any questions about how to do that as well. Like, it's an important question. So the next question that I have came in from Hannah, and she said, how to get started. So Hannah, I'm assuming with this question, there's actually two for both Hannah and Mary. Thanks for the hearts, I love it. Hannah and Mary both asked this question, how to get started. Here's what I would say is, if we're talking specifically about videos, it's really about knowing what the intention is for them. So for your video content, are you just trying to build awareness? Are you trying to fill a program? Are you trying to do something else? No, like, I would always begin with the end in mind and know what the purpose is. If your intention with creating your content is to create more sales for your business, which for most of you, it probably is. I know for me, that's my main intention, is to attract new ideal clients. You want to really begin with the end in mind. And I think an ineffective way to do it is start putting out a lot of content, but not have a real clear path that people can take as a result of watching that content. So when we're working with our clients at Brand Builders Group, we actually work backwards, and we help them build out like their website and then the funnels on the back end that we want people to go into so they can buy. And then we start helping them with the content production and content strategy, because it's not going to do you a whole lot of good to pump out a lot of content if you don't have solid funnels to drive people into to help convert, if that is your goal. So really know what the purpose is of the videos. And here's what I would say, it goes for anybody, but especially for both Hannah and then Mary with these questions. You know, if you're looking to figure out how to get started and you don't have like funnels built, or you don't have a clear customer journey, always, you can book a call with my team at Brand Builders Group and just say, hey, like, I need a brand strategy call. I need to figure out what this looks like. Shoot me a message here on Facebook, and I can get you hooked up with a member of my team just to talk through what would that path look like for you. Because if you're struggling with getting started, then oftentimes starting with the end in mind is the best place to start. So that is available to any and all of you at any time if that is helpful and needed. So Ashley said, I like this question because I get it. How do you find the balance between getting over your introvertedness and having confidence, being relatable to the customer, and not being too salesy? So who in here is an introvert? I'm just curious, like, do you guys consider yourselves more introverted? Do you consider yourselves more extroverted? I'm probably an ambivert. It depends on the situation, but I definitely, like, I like to have my quiet time. I like to just sit with the dogs in my sweatpants. I like to not talk to anybody. I don't know if you guys are like me, but that is how, that's, you know, that's how I'm wired, and that's okay. And I've learned to accept it, but I get it. You know, I think Ashley, with your question, again, you know, it comes back to coming from a place of service. So what I would, by the way, can you guys see this cup? I'm obsessed with this. My mom got this for me. Coffee strong, lashes long, hustle on. This is like my life motto. Hobby Lobby, by the way, if you guys want to get one. So coming from a place of service, if you're feeling salesy, it means you're feeling like you have to convince people that they need to work with you, and you're not fully bought in to what you're selling. So I think that it's like the introversion piece. Actually, all of this gets answered by service. All of it gets answered by service. Think about what is something that you're super passionate about that you don't sell. And think about the way you talk to your friends or family about it. Like, for example, for me, I like to think about like Four Sigmatic coffee. I'm obsessed with. I don't know if you guys drink it, if you've ever tried. It's like the mushroom coffee. It's so good, and it gets your brain going. It's like, it gets you lit. It's like, yes, I can think faster. I can process faster. And I talk to everybody about this stuff. Now, I do not sell it. I don't have an affiliate link for it. Maybe someday I will, because I talk about it enough. But when I talk with people about it, it's such clean energy, because there's nothing in me that's like weirded out about, well, I'm hoping you'll buy it because I'll get a commission and blah, blah, blah. It's just clear, clean energy. So when you can get that bought in to whatever it is that you're selling and talk about it in the same way with the same level of confidence, it just takes, again, it takes removing yourself, removing your ego, removing your any sort of self-centeredness from the conversation to just be able to freely and clearly promote that thing that you're so excited about, which I'm assuming if it's your business or something you're affiliated with, you are, because otherwise you wouldn't, you wouldn't have that affiliation with it. But I try to like tap into that energy sometimes when I'm thinking about promotion. And that really helps me. I just try to tap into that same energy that I would use when talking about something that I love, like Four Sigmatic. Okay, awesome. So I've got some questions here. How many, okay, so, and, I don't, is it Patty? Is it Lindsay? I think I've seen your name change a couple times. So I just always want to make sure I'm calling you the right name. Let me know what your preferred name is. I'm going to call you Lindsay unless you tell me otherwise. I always want to make sure I get it right. So how many live videos do you recommend per week or pre-recorded? Love this question. I would say it is however many you can commit to. I mean, look, if you can do a daily live, then you'll see faster audience growth. You'll see, you'll see more sales, you'll see more customers. But again, it's more of the consistency, thinking about yourself like a TV show. If you can commit to one a week, do that. And if you can do all live video, you don't really have to do the pre-recorded necessarily. For me, it's a scheduling thing where I can't always do the live video. So I do the pre-recorded to make sure there's consistent content. But I'd say do what you can commit to. Prioritize live over pre-recorded, but do something you can commit to and have consistent video presence that people can rely on. So that would be my recommendation there, and I hope that's helpful. Oh, Patty is good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's what I thought. I was like, I just want to make sure I'm always calling you the right thing. So, all right. Thanks, Patty. Okay, so Rafat, yes, introverts unite. Yes. Oh, girl, Rafat. Okay, so Four Sigmatic, you need to get you some. It is amazing. They make, I'm gonna go on a tangent. Look it up online. They have all different versions of the coffee, and it helps your brain kind of get stimulated and think faster. So I'm a big fan of it. Oh, hey Baxter, good morning. Good to have you join. So awesome questions, guys. Elena's saying we're uncomfortable and we want to go home. Yes, I'm the girl who leaves the party at 8 o'clock and is ready to go to sleep. I don't know about you guys. Such a change from my college years. I don't know who I was back then. Anyway, I love these questions. Keep it up, guys. We've got like 8 more minutes in the live. So if you have questions now, go ahead and ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to some of the pre-recorded or pre-requested questions here, but I'm loving this. So many good questions and so many good just thoughts from the group here. So Michelle, let's see, I think Michelle was next. Yep, she said, how do I look better in videos? I hear this a lot, and I really appreciate you asking this. In terms of how you look in your videos, I'm a big believer that you kind of want to look the way you look in real life. So I always just think about, if I was going to show up at a sales appointment or a networking meeting, how would I look? Now, there are things that will help, like lighting is really important. And Marlena in here is such a lighting queen. So if you guys have like in-depth lighting questions about photography or videography, you can ask Marlena. But for me, I use the Diva ring light Supernova. That's what I've used for a while. It's a good, like, you can buy a ring light online. They're super common now. That's good for lighting. And then I think the other thing is knowing what colors look good on you. Like, to me, that always helps. I did this last year. I worked with an image consultant because I was transitioning industries and just transitioning my brand, and I knew I was going to be more visible. And I thought, gosh, you know, I have so many different clothes in my closet. I have so many different options. I know some intuitively, I know some probably look better on me than others, but I didn't have any real definitive answers about, these are actually your colors. These are the things that make you light up. These are the things that are super attractive on you. And so I hired an image consultant and spent some time with her and figured out exactly what colors look best on me, what styles look best on me. And I was able to really clean out my closet, and almost everything in there now is something that I can put on and I know is gonna look good. You know, I still save a couple of the old sweatshirts just because we all need an old sweatshirt sometimes, but it's like, it's such an easier process, and I'm able to just grab something, put it on, and know that it's gonna look good. So I think if that's something that's of service to you, some of you might look into doing that type of work. You know, I actually got certified earlier this year in doing that just because it was like such a transformative process for me. And I knew that a lot of people that I was working with were also looking to figure out, how can I look better on camera? How can I show up more, you know, more powerfully when I'm on video? So I hope that helps. But if you have any more specific questions on it, feel free to let me know in the chat. So let me see here. Okay, so Patty's asking, how do you handle your call to action in a live video? That is great. Without sounding like you're selling. Okay, beautiful. So in terms of the call to action, and I would say this is the case for live or for pre-recorded, it's just, again, come from that place of service and let people know what's available to them. I mean, kind of just like I did there. It's like, I mentioned to you, this isn't necessarily the call to action for this live, but I mentioned to you all, I am a certified image consultant. If that is of service, and if you need help in that area or you want help in that area, feel free to send me a message and request a call, and we can talk and see if it's a good fit for you. It's just natural. It's just a natural extension of the conversation. Some people will probably take advantage of it. Some people won't. That's okay. But I think it's just having a really natural extension of the conversation to say, hey, if you want help with this, or if you need help with this, here's how I can help. Because if you're talking about something on and then you don't give people the solution to it, it's really not a service to them, right? So, and if you have a specific question, like if you let me know what your call to action is, I'm happy to talk like in more specifics on that. But I think it's just, you almost, when you go into any sort of promotion mode, what happens is typically people tend to shrink. And they'll have all this energy at the beginning, and they'll have all this, like, you know, they'll be super enthusiastic because they're talking about stuff and they're not having to sell, and it's like they're feeling good and they feel comfortable. And then as soon as they go into promoting something, it ends up, it's like, oh, and you know, if you want to buy this, or if you think this would be helpful, then here's, you know, here's how you can do it if you want, I guess. And it totally takes away your power. Like, be in your power. Know that what you have to offer is valuable. Up the power in the presentation part of your live. Let them know what's available for them. Let them know how you can help them, and carry that, just keep that same energy that you've had throughout the whole live, throughout the whole conversation. And here's the thing, people aren't dumb. People expect that if you're going live, if you're building, I'm glad that helped, thank you for the hearts. If you're doing videos, if you're building your brand, people expect that you're gonna have a call to action. None of us need to be weird about it. Some people are gonna take you up on it, some aren't, and that's totally okay. That's up to them. Beautiful question though, I love that. So thank you, Patty. And if any of you have a follow-up question, or Patty, if you have any follow-up questions on that, pop it in the chat. So let's see, I think we have time for one more. Katie had asked, how do you quit judging yourself and post the damn video? So how many of you can relate to that? Like, does anybody do a video here and then you start judging yourself and you're like, oh, do I put it up? Do I not? The best thing you can do is just don't watch it. Just get it up there. Don't watch it. That's like my secret sauce is I almost never watch my own videos. I've gotten to the point where I can watch it and I can feel proud of myself for what I've done, and I can love the woman that I see. But when I was struggling more with insecurity, like in my 20s,
I couldn't do it because I knew I would judge myself too much. So, and now I don't watch it because it's like, why? I just don't really feel like I have the time. I just put it up there. So I hope that helps. And yeah, just put it up. Don't watch it, get it out there, because you're kind of just creating a trap for yourself to judge yourself more. So, all right, Patty is saying, I have a bunch of, is that you have a bunch of questions? If you do, and I love that, let me see when the next live is going to be. You guys are here live, so I can tell you. One moment, let's see here. I will do a live for you guys next week. It'll either be Wednesday or Thursday. It may actually, I think it's going to be Wednesday. Yeah, so I'll post about it in the group later today or tomorrow. Bring your questions to that live, Patty, and anybody else. Pop them, like when I post the announcement for the live, put your questions in the comments so that I can go ahead and prioritize them and then join live. I'll be going live at 8:30 Eastern on Wednesday the 11th in this group. So you all go ahead and start preparing your questions. You were here live, so you'll get priority. You know about it first. Get your questions ready. I so adore each of you. Thank you so much for everybody who joined live today. If you're watching afterwards and you have questions, yes, and that's true. Like, use the power of the group. Post the questions in the group. There are so many experts in here. I love, Marlene, that you said that. This is not like, you don't have to wait until the live. You can get feedback from other members of the group. So use this community to get your questions answered. And just, I love how you support each other and build each other up. So much love to each of you. Thank you so much for joining live today. And I hope this was of service. I will see you guys next week at 8:30 Eastern. Bye.